Right now, at this very moment, over 100 million Americans are in the direct path of what could become the most devastating ice storm in 20 years. And the storm just shifted. Again, the question everyone is asking, will your city be buried in 2 feet of snow, or will it face something far worse, a catastrophic ice event that could leave you without power for more than 7 days in sub-zero temperatures? Here is what we know for certain in the next 60 seconds. Winter storm watches are active from New Mexico all the way to Maryland. That is 2,000 miles of severe winter weather alerts. Dallas, Nashville, Louisville, Charlotte, and over 50 major cities are preparing for impact within the next 48 hours. And here is your first critical piece of information. Comment your location right now. Drop your city and state in the comments below, and I will give you the most updated forecast for your specific area. This is not a drill. Your neighbors are already commenting. Join them. Now, why did this storm suddenly shift north overnight? The answer involves 2 powerful weather systems that are merging faster than meteorologists predicted. Let me show you exactly what is happening in the atmosphere right now, and more importantly, what this means for you. Computer models detected something unusual at 3 a.m. this morning. 2 massive energy systems, one carrying Arctic air from Canada, another pulling tropical moisture from the Pacific Ocean, are connecting earlier than expected. When these 2 forces combine, they create what meteorologists call a bomb cyclone. The storm intensifies rapidly, wind speeds increase, and that warm southern flow pushes the rain-snow line further north. Here is the shocking part. Cities that were forecasting 8 inches of snow yesterday are now looking at potential ice accumulations exceeding 1 inch. That might not sound like much, but 1 inch of ice weighs approximately 500 pounds on a standard power line. Most infrastructure cannot handle even half an inch. At the 30-second mark, I promised you critical information. Here it is. If you live anywhere along Interstate 85, from Atlanta through Charlotte to Richmond, you are in the highest risk zone for catastrophic ice. The European weather model, which has been incredibly accurate this season, shows ice accumulations between 1 and 2 inches across this entire corridor. What does 2 inches of ice actually mean? It means every tree branch becomes a frozen weapon, power lines snap like rubber bands, roads become skating rinks for weeks, not days. In February of 2000, parts of North Carolina saw just 3/4 of an inch of ice. Over 1 million people lost power. Some waited 14 days for restoration. This storm is tracking to be worse. But wait. Before you panic, let me give you the complete picture. Knowledge is power, and you need both to get through this safely. The storm has not fully formed yet. Right now, the main energy system is still off the coast of California. Weather balloons cannot sample it effectively. Aircraft are not flying through it to gather data. This means the forecast will continue to shift over the next 24 to 36 hours. It could move slightly south again. It could stay on this northern track. Or it could split the difference. What we can say, with 90% confidence, someone is getting historic snowfall, someone is getting crippling ice, and someone is getting both. Let me break down the current forecasts by region. And remember, drop your location in the comments for your personalized update. For Oklahoma and the Texas Panhandle, 6 to 12 inches of snow expected, starting Thursday afternoon. Oklahoma City and Tulsa are both under winter storm watches. Temperatures will plummet to 5 degrees Fahrenheit by Friday night. That is 35 degrees below your normal January temperature. Northern Arkansas through Memphis. This is your ice zone. Current models show potential for 3/4 of an inch to 1.5 inches of ice accumulation. Little Rock could see the worst ice storm since 1994. That storm left the city paralyzed for 9 days. Stock up now. Today is your last calm day. For Nashville, Louisville, and Huntsville, you are riding the line between heavy snow and significant ice. Nashville could see anywhere from 4 inches of snow to half an inch of ice, depending on where this storm tracks in the final 12 hours. The difference between those 2 scenarios is massive. Snow you can drive on eventually, ice you cannot. Kentucky and southern Indiana. Current models favor 8 to 14 inches of snow with significant ice underneath. This is a particularly dangerous combination. The ice forms first, creating a slick base layer. Then heavy, wet snow piles on top. Power outages are almost guaranteed in this scenario. For Charlotte, Greenville, Spartanburg, and Atlanta, This is where the forecast gets incredibly challenging. As of 6 a.m. this morning, the European model shifted you out of the heavy snow zone and directly into the maximum ice threat. We are looking at potential ice accumulations of 1 to 2 inches. I cannot stress enough how devastating this would be. Charlotte would likely shut down until February. Not an exaggeration. In the ice storm of 2002, half an inch of ice closed the city for 5 days. We are forecasting triple that amount. Columbia, South Carolina, and Augusta, Georgia. You are on the southern edge. Current tracking suggests a mix of sleet, freezing rain, and possibly even some regular rain. But do not let your guard down. A 50-mile shift south puts you right back in the heavy ice zone. Virginia, Maryland, and West Virginia. Congratulations, you moved into the heavy snow forecast. The European model now shows 12 to 24 inches of snow across western Virginia and the higher elevations of West Virginia. Maryland could see 10 to 16 inches. This is a classic nor'easter setup for you. The difference? It is coming from the south first, which means ice will likely fall before the snow arrives. Philadelphia, New York City, and southern New England. 6 to 12 inches of snow expected. Northern New Jersey and the Hudson Valley could see up to 14 inches. Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Massachusetts are looking at 8 to 12 inches. This will be a significant snow event for the Northeast, but you have dealt with worse. Your infrastructure can handle this. The South's infrastructure cannot handle what is coming their way. Now, here is the twist nobody is talking about, and this is where it gets really interesting. Pay close attention to this next part because it could save you days of misery. The storm itself is only half the problem. What comes after is equally dangerous, and in some ways, worse. An Arctic air mass is diving south behind this system. We are talking about the coldest air of the entire winter season. Temperature anomalies are showing readings 30 to 40 degrees below normal across the entire affected region. Here is what that means in real numbers. Dallas will drop to 12 degrees Fahrenheit by Saturday morning. That is 42 degrees colder than your average January day. Little Rock will hit 8 degrees. Nashville, 6 degrees. Charlotte, 14 degrees. Atlanta, 18 degrees. And these are daytime highs we are talking about. Overnight lows? Dallas could see 0 degrees Fahrenheit. Charlotte, 4 degrees. Atlanta, 8 degrees. The deep south, places like southern Alabama and Mississippi, will experience temperatures in the teens. When was the last time Mobile, Alabama, saw 15 degrees? 1989. Why does this matter? Because whatever ice and snow falls, it is not melting. Not Monday, not Tuesday, not even next Friday. Think about this scenario. You lose power Friday night when ice snaps the lines. The utility crews cannot get to you because the roads are impassable. The temperature outside is 10 degrees. Inside your house, with no heat, the temperature starts dropping 2 degrees every hour. Within 12 hours, your indoor temperature matches the outdoor temperature. This is not meant to scare you. This is meant to prepare you. There is a massive difference. Let me give you the action plan. This is what you need to do in the next 24 hours. First, water. Fill your bathtubs tonight. Fill every container you have. If power goes out, your water pump stops working. No power equals no water. You need 1 gallon per person per day. A family of 4 should have at least 14 gallons stored. Why 14? Because this cold snap lasts for 7 days minimum? Second, food. Non-perishable items only. Peanut butter, crackers, canned goods, protein bars, dried fruit. If you have a gas stove, you are lucky. You can still cook. If you have an electric stove, you need foods that require no cooking. And here is a pro tip. Buy foods you actually enjoy eating. You are going to be stuck inside for possibly a week. Do not make yourself miserable with food you hate. Third, heat sources. If you have a fireplace, stock up on firewood today. If you have a generator, test it now. Make sure you have fuel. Run it for 30 minutes to confirm it works. The worst time to discover your generator is broken is when you desperately need it. And critical safety note, never run a generator inside your house or garage. Carbon monoxide kills. Always run it outside, at least 20 feet from any windows or doors. Fourth, medications. If you or anyone in your family takes daily medications, get them filled now. Do not wait until Friday. Pharmacies may be closed for a week. Fifth, phone charging. Charge every device you own. Tablets, phones, backup batteries, everything. If you have a car charger, keep it accessible. Your car can become a charging station and a temporary heat source if needed. Sixth, check on your neighbors. This is especially important if you live near elderly residents. Knock on their doors today. Make sure they know what is coming. Offer to help them prepare. In the 2014 ice storm, 3 elderly people in North Carolina died because they were isolated and had no heat. Do not let that happen on your street. Now, at the 5-minute mark, I promise to deliver on something specific. Here it is. The single most important decision you need to make in the next 12 hours. Do you stay home or do you relocate? If you live in a rural area with above-ground power lines surrounded by trees, seriously consider staying with family or friends in a more urban area. Why? Because rural power restoration takes significantly longer. Utility crews prioritize hospitals, emergency services, and densely populated areas first. If you live on a country road with 50 houses spread over 10 miles, you could be waiting 2 weeks for power restoration. If you live in an apartment complex or urban area with underground utilities, your odds of maintaining power increase dramatically. Not guaranteed, but better odds. If you have medical equipment that requires electricity, you must have a backup plan, period. Contact your medical provider today. Many hospitals have programs for patients who rely on electrical medical devices. They can often accommodate you during extended outages. Here is something fascinating that most people do not know. Are you ready for this? The reason this storm is so difficult to forecast is not just the typical model uncertainty. It is because we are dealing with 3 different weather phenomena happening simultaneously. We have Arctic air from Canada. We have tropical moisture from an atmospheric river originating in the Pacific. And we have a developing low-pressure system in the Gulf of Mexico. These 3 systems are doing a meteorological dance, and they are all trying to lead. Small changes in timing, just 2 or 3 hours difference, can shift the outcome by 200 miles. 200 miles is the difference between Atlanta getting rain or getting 2 inches of ice. This is why meteorologists keep emphasizing that the forecast will change. We are not being wishy-washy. We are being honest about the limitations of atmospheric science when dealing with complex systems. But here is what will not change. This storm is coming. It will be significant, and it will impact your life for at least a week. Let me address some common questions I am seeing. Question 1. Should I go to the grocery store tonight or tomorrow morning? Answer: tonight. Absolutely tonight. By tomorrow afternoon, stores will be mobbed. By Thursday morning, shelves will be empty. Question 2. How much ice does it take to cause power outages? Answer: half an inch of ice can bring down power lines. 1 inch guarantees widespread outages. 2 inches creates a catastrophic infrastructure failure that takes weeks to fully repair. Question 3. Can I drive on ice? Answer: no. Absolutely not. Ice is not snow. 4-wheel drive does not help on ice. Snow tires do not help on ice. Nothing helps on ice except staying home. Emergency vehicles with chains struggle on ice. Your SUV will slide just as easily as a compact car. Question 4. When will this storm start? Answer: it depends on your location. Texas and Oklahoma will see the first impacts Thursday morning. Arkansas and Tennessee Thursday afternoon. The Carolinas and Virginia Thursday night into Friday. The Northeast Friday into Saturday. Question 5. When will it end? Answer: the precipitation will end by Saturday for most locations. But the impacts will last for 7 to 10 days because of the Arctic air mass settling in behind the storm. Now here's the part where I need your help. And this is genuinely important. Emergency management officials monitor social media during major weather events. They use real-time reports from citizens to identify where help is needed most urgently. Your comments about conditions in your area can literally help save lives. So here is what I want you to do. Comment your location right now. Then, when the storm hits, come back to this video and leave updates. Tell us what you are experiencing, how much ice or snow fell, whether you have power, whether roads are passable. This creates a real-time map that helps everyone. Other people in your city will read your comments and know what to expect. Emergency responders will see where conditions are worst. Meteorologists will use your reports to verify and improve their forecasts. You are not just a passive viewer. You are part of the information network. And in situations like this, information saves lives. Let me show you something remarkable. During the ice storm of 1994, before social media existed, people had no way to know which roads were passable and which were death traps. They would drive until they crashed or got stuck. Rescue crews would spend hours searching for stranded motorists. Today, someone can post in real time, "Route 40 is completely iced over, impossible to pass." That one comment keeps dozens of people from making a potentially fatal mistake. This is the power of community. Use it. Now, let me address the elephant in the room. Some of you are thinking, this sounds really bad, but weather forecasters always exaggerate. They predict doom and gloom, and then we get 3 inches of snow and everything is fine. I understand that skepticism, and you are right that sometimes forecasts bust. Sometimes storms underperform. But consider this. When a forecast busts high, meaning we predicted more than what happened, you wasted a few hours preparing. Maybe you bought extra groceries you did not need. Inconvenient? Sure. Dangerous? No. When a forecast busts low, meaning we predicted less than what actually happened, people die. They are trapped in cars on highways. They freeze in homes without heat. They fall on ice and cannot get medical help. So, yes, we meteorologists would rather over-prepare you for a storm that underperforms than under-prepare you for a storm that over-delivers. We can live with you being slightly annoyed that you bought extra batteries. We cannot live with you being dead because we downplayed a serious threat. This storm has all the ingredients for a historic event. Massive moisture, Arctic cold, perfect timing for maximum ice, and a week-long freeze behind it. Could it shift south and spare the Carolinas? Possibly. Could it weaken and produce less ice than forecast? Maybe. But right now, every major computer model in the world is screaming, this is going to be bad. Multiple models from multiple countries, run by different agencies, are all showing similar devastating outcomes. When models agree like this, you listen. Here is what is going to happen over the next week, and I am going to be completely transparent with you about the timeline. Today, Wednesday, is preparation day. This is your last chance to get everything in order. Grocery stores are still stocked. Roads are clear. The weather is calm. Use this day wisely. Thursday morning, the storm begins in Texas and Oklahoma. By Thursday afternoon, it reaches Arkansas and Tennessee. By Thursday night, it hits Kentucky, North Carolina, and Georgia. Precipitation will be falling across a 2,000-mile stretch. Friday morning, the storm intensifies. This is when ice begins accumulating at dangerous rates. Power outages will start. Some people will wake up Friday morning with electricity. By Friday afternoon, hundreds of thousands will be in the dark. Friday night into Saturday, the snow moves into the Northeast. Virginia, Maryland, Pennsylvania, New York, and New England will see heavy snowfall. The South will still be dealing with ice. Saturday, the precipitation ends for most areas. But the Arctic air arrives, temperatures plummet, any melting that might have occurred stops completely, everything freezes solid. Sunday through next Friday, we sit in a deep freeze. Highs in the teens and 20s across the South, lows near 0 or below 0. The ice and snow will not melt, roads will remain impassable. Power crews will work around the clock, but restoration will be slow because demand will be enormous. The following weekend, February 1st and 2nd, we might finally see temperatures climb back toward freezing. Maybe. The long-range models are not entirely certain yet, but even when it warms up, it will take days for everything to thaw. This is a marathon, not a sprint. Prepare accordingly. Before we wrap up, let me give you some specific survival strategies that could make the difference between a minor inconvenience and a major crisis. Strategy number 1. Create warming stations in your home. If you lose power, do not try to heat your entire house. Pick one room, preferably one with a door you can close. Bring everyone into that room. Hang blankets over windows. Stuff towels under the door. Body heat from multiple people in a small enclosed space can keep temperatures livable even without electricity. A family of 4 in a 10 by 12 room can maintain temperatures 20 degrees warmer than the rest of the house. Strategy number 2. Protect your pipes. When temperatures drop below 20 degrees for extended periods, pipes freeze. And when pipes freeze, they burst. When they burst during a winter storm, you cannot get a plumber for days or weeks. The damage can cost thousands of dollars. Here is what you do. Open cabinet doors under sinks to allow warm air to circulate around pipes. Let faucets drip slightly. Moving water does not freeze as easily. If you have an outdoor spigot, disconnect hoses and drain the lines. Strategy number 3. Refrigerator and freezer management. If you lose power, your refrigerator will stay cold for about 4 hours if you keep the door closed. Your freezer will stay frozen for 48 hours if full, 24 hours if half full. Want to extend that? Fill empty spaces in your freezer with bags of ice or containers of water. And if your power goes out and it is below 32 degrees outside, you can use nature as your refrigerator. Put perishable food in sealed containers outside. Strategy number 4. Carbon monoxide awareness. This is critical. Every single year, people die from carbon monoxide poisoning during winter storms. They run generators inside garages. They use gas stoves to heat their homes. They burn charcoal indoors for warmth. Carbon monoxide is odorless, colorless. By the time you realize something is wrong, you are already impaired. If you use any fuel-burning device for heat, you must have proper ventilation. You must have a working carbon monoxide detector. Strategy number 5. Communication plans. Cell towers go down during ice storms. Internet goes out. Text messages often work when calls do not because they require less bandwidth. Designate one out-of-state contact person. Everyone checks in with that person. If local systems are down, you can still relay messages through someone in a different area. Now let me explain something about ice accumulation that might save your life. Ice does not accumulate evenly. Metal surfaces like power lines and bridges freeze first and accumulate ice fastest. Wood surfaces like tree branches are next. This is why bridges freeze before roads. That overpass you drive under every day? In an ice storm, ice forms on the underside and falls onto the road below. Chunks of ice weighing 5 to 10 pounds falling 30 feet create deadly projectiles. Do not park under overpasses during ice storms. Trees are another serious hazard. Pine trees hold ice differently than hardwoods. Pine branches are flexible. They can hold enormous amounts of ice before breaking. But when they break all at once. Hardwoods break branch by branch. The cracking sounds like gunshots. You will hear them throughout the storm. Each crack is another branch falling. If you hear cracking near your house, move away from exterior walls. Get to the center of your home. Stay away from windows. When the storm ends, resist the temptation to go outside immediately. Ice takes time to fall. Branches weakened by ice weight will continue falling for hours or even days after precipitation stops. Wait until conditions stabilize. Downed power lines may still be energized. Never approach a downed power line. Electricity can travel through ice, through water, through the ground. Stay at least 30 feet away and call the utility company immediately. For those with medical conditions, if you use oxygen, have at least a week's supply of backup tanks. If you use a CPAP machine, talk to your doctor about alternative sleeping arrangements during power outages. If you are diabetic and use insulin, use a cooler with ice packs. Monitor blood sugar more frequently during stressful situations. For people with mobility issues, have a plan for how you will navigate your home in the dark. Practice walking through your house with your eyes closed. Keep a flashlight in every room. Mental health during extended emergencies matters too. Being trapped inside for a week with no power creates stress and anxiety. Have activities planned, books to read, cards to play. This is an opportunity to reconnect with family members without digital distractions. Check on people who live alone. A 5-minute phone call can make an enormous difference. Here is the reality about power restoration. With a storm this size, affecting this many states simultaneously, mutual aid is limited. Everyone needs help at the same time. Restoration efforts are prioritized. Hospitals first, then emergency services, then critical infrastructure, then high-density residential areas, then rural areas. If you live in a rural area, you could be waiting weeks. Some final practical tips. Use battery-powered LED lanterns instead of candles. They are safer, brighter, and last longer. If you must use candles, never leave them unattended. Have a fire extinguisher accessible. For cooking, if you have a gas grill, you can use it outside. Never use grills or camp stoves indoors. Carbon monoxide from grills kills people every winter. Keep children occupied during power outages with board games, coloring books, playing cards, storytelling. Download movies to tablets before you lose internet. Charge those tablets fully. The moisture feed in this storm is extraordinary. Atmospheric rivers normally occur on the West Coast. Seeing one directed at the southern United States is rare. Tropical moisture from the Pacific is being funneled directly into Arctic air. You get massive amounts of ice very quickly. Here is what I need you to understand about forecast uncertainty. A 50-mile shift in storm track changes everything. But we cannot predict that shift until the storm forms. This is why we prepare for the worst-case scenario. Hope for the best, plan for the worst. 1 week from now, this storm will be history. You will either look back and think, I am so glad I prepared, or you will think, I wish I had taken this seriously. The choice is yours. The time to act is now. Let me end with this thought, and I want you to really hear this. Weather events like this remind us how vulnerable our modern infrastructure actually is. We live in climate-controlled homes. We flip switches and lights turn on. We turn handles and clean water flows. We take these things for granted because they work 99.9% of the time. But weather does not care about our infrastructure. Ice does not care that you have important meetings next week. Snow does not care that you have groceries in the refrigerator that will spoil without power. Nature is powerful. Weather is relentless. And humans, for all our technology and advancement, are still subject to forces beyond our control. But here is the beautiful part. We can prepare. We can plan. We can help each other. We can get through this together. Your grandparents lived through times when power outages were common, when ice storms meant lighting candles and huddling by the fireplace. They survived. They persevered. And so will you. Stock your pantry. Charge your devices. Check on your neighbors. Stay informed. And most importantly, stay safe. Drop your location in the comments right now. Tell me where you are watching from. Share this video with family and friends who need to see it. The more people who prepare, the fewer tragedies we will face. I will be updating throughout the storm. New videos tomorrow. Live streams as conditions change. We are in this together, and I am not going anywhere. The storm is coming, but you are ready. You have the information. You have the plan. You have this community. Now go prepare. And I will see you in the next update. Stay safe out there.